and today I bring to you a story. It's a fictional story with fictional names. So the story of today is The Struggle of Emma, a story of hard times at work. Maybe you can relate to it. So this is how this story goes. Emma had always prided herself on her work ethic. After finishing college, she landed a job at a mind-sized marketing firm, one that seemed promising with lots of room for growth. She was eager to contribute, to learn, and to prove herself. Little did she know, the biggest challenge she would face wasn't the work itself, but the person she would be working for. Her boss, James, was not what she expected. At first, he seemed friendly and approachable, even offering a warm smile during her interviews. But after her first weeks, Emma began to notice cracks in the facade. James had an authoritarian management style that didn't encourage feedback, and his open door policy was more of a hollow gesture. He rarely took time to listen to his employees, and when he did, it was often followed by sarcasm or criticism that left people feeling demoralized. James' expectations were constantly changing, and they were always unrealistic. One week, he would ask for an urgent report, expecting it in a matter of hours, even if the task would normally take days. The next, he criticized Emma for not being proactive enough, for tasks she had never even been made aware of. His feedback, when he did offer it, was often vague and overly harsh. Instead of providing constructive criticism, James preferred to belittle his team, making snide remarks that undermined their confidence. Despite all this, Emma tried to stay positive. She worked long hours, stayed late at the office to meet his demands. She double-checked every email, tried to preemptively fix issues she thought he might find wrong, and constantly felt the pressure to keep up. However, no matter how hard she worked, it never seemed to be enough. James would always find a reason to criticize, leaving her feeling inadequate and exhausted. The worst part came when Emma had an idea for a major marketing campaign. It was something she had been thinking about for weeks, something she truly believed in. She carefully drafted her proposal, ran it past her colleagues, and made sure it was polished before presenting it to James. When she finally did, his response was nothing short of crushing. "That's not what I asked for," James snapped, barely looking at her proposal. "This is amateur. You should know better than that to waste my time with something like this." Emma felt her stomach twist. She had put so much effort into that idea, and yet, in one dismissive sentence, James had destroyed her confidence. She tried to explain her thought process, but James cut her off. "I don't have time to explain it to you. Figure it out." It wasn't the first time this had happened, but something about this instance was different. Emma realized that no matter how hard she tried, no matter how much she cared about her work, James would never value her contributions. She wasn't just facing a difficult boss, she was facing a toxic environment that was draining her spirit. As the weeks went on, Emma's energy waned. She started experiencing anxiety before every meeting with James, constantly fearing his next criticism. She found herself counting down the hours until the end of the day, when she could escape the tension and frustration. Her colleagues, too, were starting to feel the weight of James' leadership. The team morale plummeted, and Emma noticed that no one seemed to want to stay after hours anymore. Hey, neither would I. One evening, as she sat at her desk, staring blankly at her computer screen, Emma received a message from her friend Sarah, a former colleague from her previous job. "Hey, I heard about an opening at my new company. You should apply. I think you'd be a great fit. Let me know if you're interested." Emma felt a spark of hope. For the first time in months, she thought about for the first time in months, she thought about the possibility of leaving, of finding a place where she was respected, where her contributions mattered, and where the work environment didn't feel like a constant uphill battle. The next few days were a blur. Emma spent her lunch breaks drafting a new resume, gathering recommendations, and scoring job listings. It wasn't easy. Her confidence was bruised, and the thought of starting over felt daunting. But something deep inside her told her she deserved better, that she wasn't meant to feel invisible and unappreciated every single day. A week later, Emma received a call for an interview at Sarah's company. She nervously prepared, but by the time the interview came around, she felt a new sense of empowerment. She spoke confidently about her experience, her skills, and her drive. A few days later, she received an offer. Emma handed in her resignation the following Monday. Good for her. She didn't need to explain herself. Her decision was final. As she left her office for the last time, she felt a wave of relief wash over her. It wasn't just about escaping James' toxic behavior. It was about reclaiming her self-worth and her happiness. Emma eventually thrived in her new job. The work was challenging, but the team was supportive and her boss recognized her contributions. She learned that no job, no matter how promising it may seem at first, was worth sacrificing her mental health and sense of self. So the experience taught her a valuable lesson. Sometimes the hardest part isn't facing the challenges at work, but recognizing when it's time to walk away from a toxic environment. And in doing so, she found a place where she could truly grow. Wow, that was a nice story.